So I feel like I really wanted to do a video about what actually happened when I manifested my specific person, because I've been through such a lot and it's been hard to actually share everything that I've been through, because I kind of got into a momentum and a way of being with my YouTube channel, but also behind the scenes I was going through a lot myself that I wasn't ready to talk about. I wasn't ready to teach people about, or, I didn't know how to say what I was going through. So now I've been through so much and I can reflect on it, and I can, really be so real with you and tell you the truth about what I've been through. Not that I've not been telling you the truth, but it's very difficult sometimes to have a YouTube channel which is so much about your personal life. And you feel like you want to share everything, but you can't, because you have to go through things in your own time, and it wouldn't have been right or fair on me to really share everything, because I have obviously a personal life, and now I have a baby, and I have to keep some of it to myself, and I have to go through things in order for me to be able to integrate the lessons that I learn and then actually tell people about them in a really authentic, real way that feels right and I feel actually qualified to do, because I've been through it. So when I started my YouTube channel, I started it with so much excitement and enthusiasm, and it actually it really did change my life, and it was so exciting, because I had been watching so many videos about how to manifest a specific person, and then I manifested my specific person. I did. I there's no denying it. So many things happened that actually blow my mind. I mean, I visualized so many things so specifically, and then they happened. Like living in that flat that I had imagined us living in Perugia, in Italy, and then I left Italy, and then the universe brought us back there, and we were there. It was crazy. And, being together, certain things that I'd imagined him saying, I can't deny that manifestation is real. There's something so real about it, and it was really, really exciting to be living like in this crazy whirlwind of like, whoa, I am someone who has manifested my specific person. Look, I've done it. I'm living in this reality, and I'm so excited to share with people that this is what happened. And so I started my YouTube channel, wanting to tell everybody, look, this is possible, and I was very excited about it. But so what actually happened was, I don't think that I certainly didn't have the awareness that I have now about relationships. I mean, I could do a whole nother channel just for relationships, just for navigating relationships. And I didn't have the self-confidence that I've learned and had to gain through being in a relationship. And my self-love and my self-worth was still fairly low, very low actually, even though I had done a lot of work on it and I had understood it. I was still very attached to my partner. I was still very attached to him, still very dependent on him, still very scared of what would happen if we broke up, what would happen if something went wrong again, what would, all of these fears that were still really running the show. And so that kind of dictated a lot of my behaviour, how comfortable I felt to speak up, to say no to certain things, to express what I felt in the relationship. And also, I think I just had a belief, if I don't, the main problem was that I had this belief, if I don't move countries and, go around the world with him, because that's what he wants to do and that's the life he wants to have, then we won't be together. And I just felt like at the time when we first got together, actually, I do love travelling. I love travelling. It is something that is really important to me and such a fun part of my life. But I don't think I wanted to move abroad and to live abroad. And so we found this sort of middle ground where we were kind of digital nomading, basically. We were kind of going to different places and we were going there for a short time. So it wasn't like we were moving to another place. So my nervous system felt like, okay, that's okay, I can do that, because it's exciting, because we can move to different countries, we can see new places, and finally we can be together. And I felt like being together was something that I had to do, whether it was all for him, all for the relationship, all for me exploring this relationship, it was still something that I had to do. So I wanted to do that, and I'm glad that I did, obviously. But it meant that I wasn't able, at the beginning, I wasn't able to sustain my interests, my friendships, I was able to sustain my friendships, but, it was from a distance, and it was hard because I was abroad a lot, and we were travelling, and we were having a lot of fun. Like, don't get me wrong, we were having so much fun, but there was something missing in me. There was part of my innate essence, my fun, my vibrance. I mean, it's hard to explain. I was having fun, but there was part of me that I felt I'd left behind in another life. A life where I felt free to be me. A life where I felt confident about who I was. A life where I felt free to make my own choices. There was part of me that I'd left and withheld so that I could keep the relationship. Just, error 101, really. I mean, I made that mistake because I was afraid and scared that we'd break up. That's what I was scared of. Like, we all are. We all get scared of that at times. And so I did what I felt was right at the time for the relationship. But over time, and I've made my YouTube channel, gone, hey, look, I've manifested my relationship. But I got really unhappy. I was really, really unhappy because I was neglecting parts of myself that I deeply love now. And I've always loved those parts of myself, and that's why it was so sad to neglect those parts of myself. But I just felt like I got to a point where we were travelling, I think about a year in, where I was like, I remember speaking to my dad on the phone from Tenerife, and I remember going, I'm so unhappy and I don't know why I'm so happy. And it was weird because I was having such good success with my business. I mean, I'd never made more money in my life. It was like, whoa, what's happening? But I was really unhappy. I was very stressed. I was burnt out because I was doing coaching all the time. And I wasn't doing anything really for me, not really. And I was enjoying the closeness and the fact that we were together, and we fell on this kind of playfulness and silliness in our relationship that like made it feel fun and made it feel okay to be there. But at the same time, my anxiety, I just went into this whole world of relationship anxiety. And it kind of fell into the ROCD world, relationship OCD. I was obsessed with working out, why am I so anxious? Why can't I let this go? And I was obsessed at the beginning with, what if he talks to someone else? What if he, every time his phone went off, I'd get triggered. I'd have like a visceral reaction in my body, and I would think, why is this happening? I feel like I'm supposed to be feeling good about myself. I feel like I'm supposed to be self-loving, and I'm not, clearly, because I'm so triggered by his phone. And it just went on for about a year and a half. We've been together for 3 years now, nearly 3 years. And that was so annoying because I just thought, oh my God, I've got to stop being triggered by every single time his phone goes off. So I started getting coaching. I met an amazing coach who I still talk to because, she's, we've just kept in touch, and she's just really has helped me learn so much about the nervous system, which is obviously what I now rave on about and tell everybody about. And I did courses on, relationship anxiety. I learned so much about my beliefs about relationships, what I thought relationships should be, and the fairy tale and the romance and the Disney movie-like thing that I'd had in my head just died. Because it had to die. It had to die. Because relationships are not like that. I discovered that relationships actually do take work, and they take learning each other and, prioritizing yourself, your needs, expressing your needs, learning to say no, setting boundaries within a relationship. And all of these things that I learned were painful and difficult to learn because it meant adjusting my nervous system to a new normal. It's okay for me to say no. It's okay for me to express my truth. It's okay for me to want to go home and have a house and a stable environment, and to want to be where I want to be, and to express that, and to risk losing it all for that, okay, because I needed my connection to myself. And so I went on this big journey back to myself. So here's a rundown of kind of what happened, basically. And I've written a book about this. So, you know, soon I'm going to release that and show you that. And you'll be able to read more about how I actually manifested my specific person and what actually happened and all of that, because I've written it all down. But what really happened in essence was that we got back together. Long story short, there's other videos on how that happened. But we got back together and it was amazing at first. It was like, oh, thank God, what a relief. We're finally together. And I was sailing on that for so long, for about 6, 7, 8, 9 months, something like that. I was like, oh, I'm so relieved that we're together and everything's good and we're having fun. We're going to Morocco, we're going to Santorini, we're doing these amazing photo shoots. So like my business is going well, like so much good stuff seemed to be happening. And I felt like, but something in me was basically saying, are you doing this for him? Are you creating this amazing life because you want him to stay with you, basically? And in some way that was true, because I was thinking I can make him have an amazing life so he'll never want to leave me. But then that made me feel very insecure, because what if I wanted to do something different, which I eventually did want to do something different. And what if, I couldn't do that any longer, or, it was just like I was very scared of basically saying, I want to go home. I don't want to be traveling anymore. I want to go home, because it felt like a complete opposition to what he wanted. And it meant me putting myself first, and I'd not really done that really ever in our connection, and I'd not really seen any evidence that it would be okay if I did. So I started doing little things at first, like saying, I actually don't really want to watch that. You can watch it on your own, I'm going to watch something else. That felt big, that felt huge to me, because I'd always gone, yeah, we can watch Lord of the Rings, or we can watch, what's that other thing that's really violent? I can't remember what it is now. Game of Thrones. That's totally, I don't watch that kind of stuff. I can't watch it. I just can't watch it. But I watched it because I was trying to please him. There was a lot of people pleasing at the beginning. There was a lot of inauthenticity for me to adjust to him. And so he triggered me. He triggered me so much. Like, if there was any shift in his mood at all, I would feel like, what have I done? What have I done? So all of my old trauma was coming up, and also because there was so much pressure on this relationship to work now, it had to work, because if it didn't work, then, oh, bloody hell, I've got a YouTube channel talking all about relationships. What am I going to do? And, I just basically just felt like I've put so much pressure on this relationship to work. So I adjusted and all the time chipped away at my self-esteem. At the same time, I knew that I was learning such a lot, and I had a lot of support. I had a lot of friends who were, talking me through it, helping me realise what was happening. And there was a point, like say in Tenerife, where I realised I'm really unhappy. I've got to sort it out. I've become codependent. I've adjusted my whole life for this person. I've done every mistake in the book, and I feel so disconnected from myself. So my number one priority now is to connect back to myself and risk everything. If this relationship falls apart because I've connected back to myself again, so be it. That has to be the way it was. That has to be the way, that has to be the way. But I wasn't really feeling that strong about that at the time. I just knew that I had to find myself again, but I wanted so much to keep the relationship. And so breaking up wasn't really on the card. It wasn't an option. And I was very inspired by, people who've been in relationships for a very, very long time, hearing stories about like their ups and downs and their persistence and how things had not always been easy. And I learned so much about relationships, that made me feel like, okay, it doesn't have to be a fairy tale. We don't have to actually like each other all the time. We don't have to like everything about each other, because that started freaking me out too. Like, I idolized him for so long and thought he was just this knight in shining armor who was going to come along and make my life easier and better. But actually there's certain things that, you know, we clash on, that we're gonna find difficult. So there was like this acceptance of, don't have to, like, there's no perfect person basically, and he's no different. He's not a perfect person. And it was hard to accept that the thing that I'd imagined wasn't actually what it was, and that in order to create a relationship that worked, I had to accept a lot of things. I had to work on it. I had to prioritize myself, and I had to spend time on myself, and I had to risk actually losing the relationship in order to connect back to myself and to be myself. And all of that was just so terrifying for my nervous system, and it forced me to evolve. It forced me to grow. And all the while I was, you know, feeling a lot of pressure with my business and feeling a lot of pressure with the YouTube channel, continuing to speak about the lessons that I had learnt and the things that I was learning, but the things that I had yet to learn were very difficult to speak about. Like, there's no way I could have done a video like this, you know. So it was really hard, and I felt inauthentic, and I felt like it was just very, very difficult. A very difficult time for about a year while I was going through the thick of this. And there was a point where I thought, oh my God, I don't know how we're going to get through this. I don't know how we're going to overcome this. And there was a point where he was looking for a job, and he was very low. He was very, when people are unhappy, it's very difficult to be around people who are unhappy. I was unhappy. He was unhappy. Somehow we got through that time. Like, I don't know how, but it was like almost like we both have like little breakdowns, and then we'd support each other, and then we'd have a bit of silliness and a bit of fun, and then we'd be in despair, and we'd have to take space. And that taught me so much. Like, okay, I've got to prioritize my own feelings, my own needs. This is the thing with like social media, you just don't see the whole picture. You really don't. And not even with my relationship. There's certain things that I have to just keep to myself, because it's my life, you know. And we do have like such a beautiful connection, and we have powered on, and we have worked through so much, and we've built this resilience and this strength and an understanding of each other. And I have learned so much about how to connect to myself. You can probably see a shift in my energy altogether. I imagine that I actually feel more connected to myself than I have in the whole time that we've been together. And we've obviously now got a baby. That was a beautiful thing, and is a beautiful thing, because it showed me another side of Johnny that I'd never seen before, that I'd never known. And I gained a lot of respect for him, because he's been so good as a dad, and so good with Noah, and just it's been really beautiful to witness that and to see that and to be really proud of him. And so basically what I wanted to say in this video is that it just really wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Our relationship is not some kind of perfect scenario, and that if you're manifesting your specific person, don't build it up to be this thing that's going to like make your life so much better and make you happier. If you're lonely now, you're going to take your loneliness with you to the relationship. If you're sad now, you're going to take your sadness to the relationship. If you're in a victim state, you're going to be a victim in the relationship. Like, you've got to work on you in your state, because the relationship is going to mirror who you are being and who you are, right? And you've got to be able to say no, you've got to be able to set boundaries, you've got to be able to know who you are, because you'll be triggered in relationships. That is where we get our most lessons and triggers, because intimate relationships are vulnerable, and they take acceptance and work, and you knowing yourself and trusting yourself, and love is a risk at the end of the day. There's no way around that. And at the beginning I was trying to avoid the risk, like, what if he does this, what if he does that? And I learned through nervous system regulation and through narrative transformation work, and learning to see what my beliefs were about relationships, and changing those and adapting and growing into myself, evolving. It's been basically like I was in some kind of, I was a caterpillar, and then I'm becoming a butterfly. I'm not even there yet. Not that I'll ever be there, by the way, but the thing is that I understand so much more now, and I feel so much more connected to myself, and I feel like I had to do this really real video with you to tell you, like, actually this is how it is. This is how it's been. It's not been easy, there's been absolutely beautiful things, but it's becoming much better now that there's so much more realness in it. And who knows what the future is, you know? But at the moment, every day is a choice. Do I want to stay in this relationship? Yes. And until that changes, this is the way it is. And I'm going to focus on the good things and everything that I've learned. I am really proud of myself for how far I've come. I feel a bit emotional. Yeah, I feel emotional because it's been such a big journey. You know, it's been such a big journey. You know, I know you go through hell manifesting a specific person. You miss them. You want them to be there, and then, you know, for me, it's been really hard because I really did lose connection to myself, and I want you all to know that your connection to yourself is the most precious thing ever. The most precious thing that you'll ever have is your connection to yourself, and you can't lose it, so you have to nurture it. And this is what I want everybody to do. I want everybody to really know how to love themselves, so that when you do manifest a specific person, because be careful what you wish for, honestly, like it could very well happen, that you'll know that when it comes in, you don't need to be afraid, and that you can be yourself, and that yourself will always be good enough no matter what happens with the relationship. Me and Johnny have just come through such a lot, and we've learned such a lot about each other, and we have this beautiful baby now, which is amazing, and it's what I always wanted. So, you know, I've obviously manifested that, and that's an amazing part of our relationship now that'll always be there. But yeah, the truth is that it isn't the fairy tale, you know, that it's been hard, but that's kind of the beauty of it too, you know, that we go through hard times, we go through hard things. Relationships have changes and breakthroughs and breakdowns, and you know, over the course of a lifetime or the course of a long relationship or whatever, there is so much power in that and so much beauty in that, because we're here to grow, we're here to evolve. And this is my I have to say all this now. I have to say this because I want my message to you to be coming from such an authentic, real place, and I feel like this has helped. This has really helped me to feel a lot better, because I felt a lot of pressure to uphold a certain image about my relationship and about me, or I don't know. I just felt like it was a lot of pressure to talk to the community in a way, and doing this is actually already helping. I don't know how. Don't know how it will be received, but I imagine that it will be insightful to know the journey, my journey, because I feel like a lot of people have like idolized it or sort of put it on a pedestal. But the thing is that, you know, honestly, I feel so proud of my clients when they go, you know what, I'm going to put myself first, and I've met someone else. And he's amazing. Like, that's amazing. That is amazing. Honestly, that is. And when people evolve through the process, like I've evolved through my relationship, you might do that too. But you might evolve through growing in self-love and growing in self-confidence, in a different way, with or without your specific person. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you can be with your specific person and you can be really unhappy if you're not connected to yourself, like I was, you know. So that's what I want you to know. It's like a spoiler alert, a little precursor, a little warning to say, just make sure that you're connected to you, okay? It's so important. I think that was probably a worse heartbreak for me than ever losing him, was losing myself. And I realised all along through, you know, a beautiful therapy session that I had once, that I'd never been lost. I was just on a journey, and the essence of me had always been there and always will be there. And now I can feel that more, and I can tap into that, and I'm really grateful for the journey. I'm really grateful for everything, and I'm really grateful for you for watching this. If you've watched this whole video, thank you. And love to know what you think, what you feel, and yeah, I'm gonna keep making videos, and yeah, we're gonna keep growing, keep evolving. All is well. All is well. Everything's happening exactly as it's meant to, in perfect timing, as I always say. Have to say that to myself too, obviously, as well. And yeah, don't know what I'm going to say now to end this video, but thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.